Hey guys, welcome back to this next episode. And this episode I would like to show you how to implement a hit animation for the zombie every time we hit the zombie with our gun. So let me just demonstrate quickly. You can see he's like reacting to it. And the movement, so the lower body is not getting interrupted. Okay? So let's just check here. Good. Okay, so you get the idea. What I did is I have an anim montage. So from my hit montage, I just created, from my animation, I just created a montage. And you can see that I have an anim state, okay? So when you created a montage from your animation, you go inside your anim states folder, just right click, blueprint class, and just get an anim state, which is called anim notify state. Okay, just create this one. Let me open this one up. I have a received notify begin and end. Okay, so you need to activate both. The first one is, so the first one is basically pretty simple. On begin mesh component, you get the player character. From the player character, you cast to BPRE character, and you get your AC inventory. And what you need to do inside your AC inventory, you create a boolean called a zombie hit. So inside your AC inventory, just click on the plus and create a boolean, and you call this one zombie hit. This is it, okay? Back into our state, received notified begin, you set this one to true, and this is the return node. Okay? Then you can just copy all those things, and on the received notify end, you can just paste this one here, make sure everything is connected, and you set this one, of course, to false. Okay? So now it makes sense. When you go inside your montage, right click, add notify state, you get your state. I called mine anim state underscore zombie underscore hit, and I have the length which is, in my case, it's about 40 to 45 frames long. Okay? Also make sure that your blend in time is set to 0, because when you shoot, you want to get this montage played instantly and not blending in, because he gets shot. So we want to play this instantly, of course. So the next thing you need to do is you go inside your animation blueprint, and from there you have to add this cast to BPRE character, because we want to access our AC inventory, right? So for the object, you just get the player character. Alright, get player character, connect this one to cast to BPRE character, or you can just drag out from here and cast to BPRE character, which is your player BP. From there, here you get AC inventory, and then from there, you can just skip the speed and movement direction. Just make sure that this one is also connected. Just reconnect this one. From the AC inventory, you drag out, and you get an is valid first. This is pretty important, so is valid, this one here with a question mark. This is the input, and also from the AC inventory, you just drag out, and then finally you get the zombie hit you just created. You get this one, and here click on the plus and you set the zombie hit. And this one is connected, okay? Like so. Good. Then you go into your anim graph. What you have is the locomotion, and before you put the locomotion into the output pose, you have a slot, default slot. What you need to do now is you get the locomotion from there. Type in new save cached pose. This is what you need to do. Then you have a new node. All right, this new node usually contains a long number. What you just do is you call this one locomotion cache. Just put those two nodes, make sure they are connected, pretty important, and just put them aside. Just leave them here on top. Doesn't matter. Then you can just right click again and use cached pose. Just type in use cached pose, locomotion cache. Then you have this one. You need 3 copies, okay? The first one goes directly into the base pose of a so-called layered blend per bone, okay? The second one, the second locomotion cache, goes into the blend poses, the second channel, blend poses 0 in this case. I think you can also just rename this, I believe. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure if you can rename this, but may. So it's not really relevant now. But make sure that in the second input here, blend poses 0, you have a slot default slot, okay? This is pretty important. The layered blend per bone, you have the config, blend mode, branch filter, pretty important, layer setup. The index, inside the index, you have a branch filter. Just click on the plus, then it will open up another index, and the bone name here. Type in exactly like so, the spine underscore 01. It's pretty important. No capital letters, just spine underscore 01. So I mentioned earlier in my previous episode when we started using the layered blend per bone that this is just preventing us to play the whole animation, the whole montage, but only the upper body. So this is why we use the bone name spine underscore 01 or 02. It depends on the animation, but the spine is basically just around the hip, the bone structure, the bone hierarchy. And this means that our blend pose is only using the montage for our upper body, but our lower body is not getting affected. So he's still moving, but only the upper body has the hit animation, okay? Now you get the zombie hit. Just get it, okay? And then from there, blend poses by bool, okay? If it's true, you connect this whole thing. You connect the whole layer blend per bone to true. If this is false, so when we're not shooting, okay, so most of the time it's false, we're just using the locomotion cache with a slot, default slot as well. And this is our false pose. So just connect this one straight into that false pose. And then you connect the whole thing here into the output pose. This is what you need to do, okay? So make sure that you have all this stuff like so. Then compile and save. And then you go into the AC inventory. Let me close everything. Let me close everything. Go into your BPRE character. You have this shoot event. Inside the shoot function, open that one up. In the end here, you have the weapon trace. Okay, so your current weapon, you have this sphere trace. And we hit an actor, which is our zombie. So deal damage, open that one up. So every time we cast to the zombie, make sure that from your zombie, you drag out, and you need to create a function first, okay? I called my function F hit animation. So inside your AC inventory, just click on the plus here inside functions, call this one F hit animation, okay? You click on that one, and you create an input, which is your BP master zombie. Search for the BP master zombie. This is the object reference, okay? That's a single object reference. Just call this one zombie. From there, just play anim montage, okay? Just play anim montage. And then you get your anim montage. You just created, okay? And I told you for the, let me just find this one like so. For the montage, I explained to you previously, add notify state, and then you get the anim state zombie hit. So this is what I told you before. Okay, this is pretty important. And then you can decide the length. And inside the state, I did show you in the beginning that we have on begin, so which is here, the boolean zombie hit will be set to true. So every time we shoot, will be set to true. And after a certain point of time, we have this end notify, and then this will be false. So the zombie hit boolean will be false again. And this is basically controlling our blend poses here. So the zombie hit is only true depending on the length of our montage, okay? Good. And then you put this montage into your play anim montage node, okay? This is your function. And then you can put this function F hit animation. You can just put this one behind the sound here in this case. So currently I'm inside the F deal damage function, okay? So we spawn blood, and then we have this flash impact sound, okay? And then after that, make sure that the zombie is connected, alright? So just from here, connect this one, okay? It's pretty important. Or what you also can do, this is not mandatory, but what you can do is you can also get your BP master zombie, your BP zombie reference, and just set this one like I did here, okay? And then you can also just connect this like so. And of course, make sure the BP master zombie here is also connected, okay? And if you do that, you can also, if you want to, just get the zombie here, and then you can just connect this one like so, if you want to. Alright, just make sure that the zombie is connected. And this is it. So every time we deal damage, we also have this hit animation edit, okay? And yeah, this is basically it. This is how you can add this upper body animation. And let's just see if this is working out. You can see he is reacting, so only the upper body is reacting, and he's still moving. Okay. Good. And I believe this is everything you need to know. Yeah, so I did show you the animation blueprint, how to update the layered blend per bone, and using the boolean with the blend poses by bool, right? This is pretty important that you set this one up. And yeah, inside your fshoot function, inside the F weapon trace, inside the F deal damage. So you can see it's a long way we have here. And this is where I did put my F hit animation. Okay. But as I told you before, it's pretty important that the zombie hit boolean you have here inside your AC inventory is controlled with the enum state. Alright, so you did create the enum state and you implemented this into your montage. Alright, so let me just open this one again. This is what we created in the beginning of this episode. So you have this receive notify begin. So it's true every single time when the montage is getting played, right from the beginning. Some zombie hit is true. And then you can, depending on how long you want to have this inside your montage, this state, when this one is done, so on receive notify end, you have the zombie hit set back to false. Okay, and this is basically the reason, like when we open up the ABP zombie again, you can see that the zombie hit, this is the state as I told you before. Every time we shoot, it's true depending on our length of our montage, and then we only play the slot which is mandatory for our montage to be played. It's only affecting the second channel of our layered blend per bone, which is the spine _01. The blend weight, set this or like leave it as it is, so default is 1. And if we're not shooting, so if it's not being played, we are just going back to our locomotion, which is this one here. Have the slot default slot. This is pretty important that you add this one as well. And this is our default, in this case, our default pose. Good. So we are only blending the upper body here when we are actually hitting the zombie, okay? Then this true pose is only being played when this one is true. Alright, and this is it. Pretty simple stuff, but now it's more natural. It has a more natural feeling, like the zombie is actually really like getting hit. Okay? And of course you can also, if you want to, you can also add this, not this function, sorry, but you can also add this function called hit animation. This one, right? You can also set this one to the hammer trace. Here. Hammer trace start, hammer trace duration. We deal damage here as well, and then you can also get this one here, if you want to. And just set this one here. And let's see. If we get our hammer. Yeah. And he's still chasing us. So he is reacting, so the upper body is reacting to the impact. But he's still moving, which is pretty important in my opinion. And now he's done. Yeah, which is pretty important in my opinion, because if you don't use the upper body, then he's always like stopping, like depending if you have root motion activated or not. In my case, this is pretty important, make sure that your animation for the zombie, this is pretty important. So when you create your, in my case, this is the montage. This is the animation, and from here I did create the montage, okay? So you need to go back to your original animation, okay? And make sure that you have this forced root lock. Otherwise he will shift or slide back to its position. So we need to force the root lock, okay? If we enable root motion, for example, this is not really, yeah, we can't use root motion in this case, because he will just slide back to its position. Doesn't really look natural. So yeah, just make sure that the forced root lock is activated. Yeah. And if you don't want to use layered blend per bone, which is totally fine, you want to have this whole animation being played, then you can just skip the whole process of having a boolean and a layered blend per bone. Then you can just keep your ABP if you want to, just keep it like it is, and then the whole animation will be affected. So the whole body will be affected. But in my opinion, it's quite boring, because every time you shoot, he's not really moving, and he will always move back and move back. So this is pretty easy, so the zombie will not be really dangerous for us. So this is why we are using the like only the upper body, and he's still chasing us. Okay. Yeah, this is just a quick demonstration on how to add a layered blend per bone hit montage for your zombie, and yeah, see you in the next one.